Hey, hey, hey. Hope everybody's doing good. Carl Bryan coming at you with my boy, our boy, Kenya Pat. What's happening, Kenya Pat?
Kenya Pat is multitasking, setting up people in the software, having a great day. Been so good. I got my I got my visa renewed for another 2 months before my
Oh, you did? Oh, cool.
work permit comes
Always a
through.
little
So
hurdle.
we can stay a lot longer.
There
So
we go, bud. There we go. Exciting. Dealing with the immigration office. That sounds like a lot of fun.
actually, I didn't have to. We with the mission we're with, we just take our passports to a guy. He does everything. He
Oh,
knows
really?
everyone
Oh,
down
well.
there, which is really cool. So I don't have to stand in line. I don't have to pay any money. It's just the way it should be. Right? Just let the
Oh,
pros
nice.
take care of what the pros do best, and you stick to your strengths. So
Good stuff. Good stuff. Speaking of the pros, we got all our folks here. Hope everybody's doing good. As per always, guys, Q and A call. You guys provide the Q, we provide the A. The earlier we get some questions flowing, the better. So if you got a question, just raise your hand or plunk it in the box. In the meantime, let's scoot through. Oh, here we go. All right, Jeff's got a question. Jeff, we're coming for you, buddy. You are self-muted, my friend. There he is. Jeff, hey, you're live.
Awesome. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
well,
What's happened, Jeff's world?
Working around in the software these last few days, getting some implementation roadmaps drawn up and everything. And wanted to get advice. What I'm getting stuck at is where it says weeks to implement. And thus far, I'm just taking wild stabs at how many weeks. So
yeah.
I was wondering if there's any guidance out there, like typical, like this part takes 3 weeks, this part takes 6 weeks, so on and so forth. More of an educated guess than just a wild guess.
Yep. Pat, you want to hammer through that first?
Well, the short answer is no. There is no guidance really, except, I mean, from the training, we've done a few things. We've talked about things, and just your wisdom. Maybe if you know how long it might take, it depends how much you're coaching, if you're consulting with them. So I would say as a minimum, you want to probably do about at least a month. Some things, let's just take market dominating position, for example. You might think it's easy. In some cases, you go into a client's office and you might spend a couple weeks trying to work on something. I've done that before with a digital marketing company, and we're trying to find an advantage for them over other digital marketing companies. But we did come up with something. It took a couple weeks, and then they have to implement it, and then you have to make sure the staff all knows it and trained on it, and you establish policies and procedures. So it could be a solid 8 weeks, could be 12. So I would say a lot of these things are guidelines, and you say, look, these are guidelines. In reality, it's going to be a fluid situation. We might be able to do a couple things at the same time, like work on your market dominating position and a compelling offer at the same time. We might be able to work on alliances and joint ventures, and I forget what I was going to say, but maybe it's going to be additional products and services with upsell, cross-sell, and downsell at the same time, and maybe with some bundling in there.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to play it fluidly, and just, trust me, we're going to move at this as quick as we can. We're going to make a solid impact, and we're going to make a lasting impression here. Something like that. Go ahead, go, Carl.
Yep. Pat, could you hit implementation for us, please?
Yep.
So guys, have a look at this. So Jeff, check this out. So just click whichever, like just market dominating position is at the top there. And so, if you see the answers at the back of the book on the right-hand side, you got your A through J. Like this is kind of what you're working through.
Right.
So maybe as a guide, I'd open that up and just get a bit of a feel for it. And just, some things you're going to go straight through, and then others are, like Pat said, it just takes a little bit of time to implement and get systematized. Make sense?
No, I've already done that too. That's what I was kind of saying. It was just some other guys, because I've already have looked through each of these sections and kind of did an educated guess on that. I don't know if I'm shooting high, shooting low, or right in the middle. and kind of being new, just listening to, other guidance out there to fine tune it.
Yep. And I think as a framework, Pat, I don't know, I'd like to know if you agree with this, but I would use a month as a framework. And I feel like you're going to rip through things quicker. Again, you can overlap some of this stuff as well, of course, right? But I dare say, use like a month as a framework and then go a little bit less and a little bit more. Keeping in mind, as you lay out your implementation calendar, if you stretch, I definitely wouldn't stretch everything to, something like 8 weeks. I wouldn't do that because now it's not looking as sexy in terms of, getting a lot done.
Yeah.
So again, this is where if I felt like market dominating position was going to take a month, but then you might want to, reduce some of the others to 2 weeks so that we got a little bit of action early in the relationship and we're working on some fun stuff that they want to knock over, if that makes sense.
Yep, it does.
Yep. And in closing, I just say this too. Remember, when I start working with a client, one of the things I'm doing is I'm getting I'm tactical, right? Of course, we have to keep one eye on strategy because, what do they say, that strategy eats tactic for breakfast? But the saying progress equals happiness. So I want to put a couple runs on the board quick. Do keep that in mind, right? So just at the beginning of that relationship, a couple runs on the board where you can point to their bank account and say, look, you started saying, do you want fries with that? Created this cross sell and there's more money in the bank, or you supersize some of your offerings and you put money in the bank immediately. So thinking about tactically getting a few runs on the board early in the relationship versus going to something that you're going to drag out for 8 weeks to kind of, get the momentum. You follow the logic behind that, Jeff?
100%.
Yeah, awesome. Pat, you'd agree with that, and anything you'd add or subtract?
Yeah, I agree totally. I mean, I've made so many mistakes in the past where I've tried to be strategic and thinking, man, I got to build this strategically and we're going to create a great foundation. And I got fired after 3 months because we're still working on strategic. So
that lesson right there, guys, home run. That comes from a place of wisdom too, right? Like Pat's been in the trenches doing this stuff. So again, tactical over strategy initially, get some runs on the board, and not just remember just because you this is another thing. I think I did this pretty well when I was consulting and coaching clients, is that I wasn't scared. So people don't like to beat their own chest or pat themselves on the back, right? It just doesn't, it's lame. This would be the best way of saying it. But what's lamer is getting let go by your client at the 90-day mark, right? So don't be shy to just kind of point out some things. So look, I would like to do a little bit of an audit. We're 9 weeks into this thing. Let's have a look. So you started asking, you got a lawyer, and they started saying, do you want a will with that? Has not cost them 5 cents to implement that. How many wills have you guys done in the last 8 weeks? Can you bring that number to me on Tuesday? I'd like to know what it looks like. And if it's not high enough, I got to pour a little bit of gasoline and get the guys, the lawyers in the office asking that, and pursue it. And it's going to, the number, right? You're getting full credit. They weren't doing that before you, right? You're like, you've really spent, $2,000 a month. We're 2 months into this. It's $4,000. You've already put $4,000 in your bank account through that process. Boom. Make sense? Like Jeff?
Yep, sounds good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, gonna put you on mute. All right, where else are we gonna go here? We're gonna go Bill Van Overbeck. That's a cool last name if I ever heard one. Bill, we're coming for you to say hello. And we're gonna press you for a question. I'm gonna warn you. You're self-muted. You'll have to unmute yourself if you want to say hi. There he is, Bill Van Overbeck. How goes it?
Good. Nice to meet everybody.
Do that. Fantastic last name. There you go.
Well, thank you. It's a little different.
So tell us what's going on,
O,
Bill Van.
Everybody on.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, you got the V's and the O's. Yeah, well done. But hey, so tell us, how's it going so far, and any questions for us?
I just kind of signed up for things a couple days ago, and so I'm still in the process of getting all those preparatory ducks in a row and Just wanted to start jumping in and see what the software is about and see what
Good.
what everybody else is doing and what kind of questions people have, and just start to
Beauty.
jump in and see what's going on.
So in other words, you weren't expecting to get opened up, were you?
I was not.
Trying to be a fly on the wall, Bill. It doesn't work well around here with Pat and I.
Yeah, I noticed.
That's cool. Okay, great, Bill. Welcome aboard, buddy. High five. Appreciate you, man. And I'm going to chuck you back on mute here. And we're going to go. So, Bill, let's go. Well, Billy. There we go. We got Bill and we got Billy. Billy the kid. Billy Dixon. There he is. Billy, the famed man who's got the example of how to do a screen share live on the Roleplay page. How's it going, Billy?
Good. How we doing, Carl?
Doing fantastic. So give us the 101. What's happening in Billy's world?
Nothing much here. I was talking to an interesting prospect yesterday, and got that PAS coming up. He's a carpet cleaner out in Minnesota, and he was saying that most of his clients are Muslim, like mosques.
Yep.
And he was saying, yeah, they use their carpets a lot, so they need them cleaned. I was like, wow, that's interesting. Never thought of that. So I'm meeting with him for Profit Acceleration tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. He said that they pretty much shut down during the winter time. It's pretty much like a 1 to 2 man operation, father and son.
Yep.
And he said wintertime they completely just shut down. They're like, it's just too cold to do carpet cleaning in Minnesota. So I was thinking of some potential strategies for them during the winter. I don't know if you had any ideas per se.
Yeah. So moss, their niche is moss. Is that basically it?
Yeah, it's funny because
They're more of a commercial.
They never thought they would be in that particular market. I guess they just got hired for one, and then they just started spreading the word about them. And they're like, "Hey, can you come clean over here?" And so they kind of broke into that market.
Yeah.
They said mosques and churches.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me just tell you. So they have told you how to sell them. Okay. And that's they have again, we're not looking for ideas. You want to send your spidey senses toward problems. It sounds similar, but it's completely very different, way of thinking. And again, you're thinking your spidey senses. He's told you how to close them. So all you got to do is solve the seasonality issue that they've got. But I can give you some homework, Billy, that's going to make this real easy. Joe Polish, who is quite famous in our little, we'll call it the coaching world. His niche used to be, guess what? Carpet cleaners. So if you just do a little bit of homework, I always encourage you to do, if it was a restaurant, go do some homework on restaurants. If it's a chiropractor, go do some, homework on that. Oh, here we go. Oh, boom. This is it. Rich Cleaner. So if you do a little bit of homework on what Joe Polish recommends, you are going to find an enormous amount right there for you. So that's the answer. Just follow what Joe Polish and again, don't just go to page 1 and have a look. Again, his program's probably 15 years old. But there's plenty, very well documented. There's going to be plenty of stuff. So you'll be able to help them without question with that. But yeah, and they got to, not just doing like Moss. Basically, they got a corporate cleaning. They're doing cleaning, but it's more corporate. So, you're just helping them build a corporate cleaning business. Fairly straightforward, frankly. That help, Billy?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome. But how did you find this guy? What was your lead gen, and how'd you get this guy on the phone?
He was in one of my Facebook groups, and he was just kind of like, "Oh, you have a book? That's awesome, man." So I'm like, "Yeah, check it out." So I sent him the book. He was in the drip campaign, and I completely forgot about him. But he was in the drip campaign, and he responded to one of the drip campaign emails, which was asking for a case study. And he responded to the email. He's like, "Hey, Bill, man, I can. My dad owns a carpet cleaning company, and let's sit down and talk, and I'll help you out. I'll be a case study for you."
I love it. So everybody listening, okay, I want you to Billy had completely forgotten about this guy, and the drip campaign was doing its work, and basically, brought him what appears to be, I'd be amazed if they don't become a client some way, shape, or form. Certainly a hot prospect, and imagine waking up again and you just get a few of those calls. Like Adrian and I talk about, we built the LinkedIn advertising campaign that did 7 figures. When we went back and kind of reverse engineered the numbers, we found that I can't remember the exact number, but I'm going to say 63%, right? So to say $630,000 of the million came through the drip campaign, right? So 300,000 of it came. They saw the ad, they hit the landing page, they signed up, and they were a client within 14 days. But the vast majority of it, 2/3 of it, basically happened through the drip campaign, right? Not a lot of rocket science in what I just said. But when you think about it, how many, advertising campaigns online, and how many of your clients have advertising campaigns and they don't have the drip, they don't have the back end, the emails automatically coming out. So huge. Well, we would have missed out on 2/3 of the profit of the ad campaign if we didn't have it. So there you go. So high five, Billy. Good stuff. Anything else for our fine folks, bud?
No, sir. That's about it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Good tip.
No worries. And Pat, before we move on, would anything else you'd add there?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's just happened to be writing a whole lesson last week on how to increase the frequency of customer purchases. And the example I just happened to be using is a carpet cleaner.
Oh my God, love it.
So I just gave a quick example, and you can use this because it actually solves the seasonality. People call in. We had our carpets cleaned when I was in Kelowna, and basically they come in, they clean your carpets, they charge you whatever, $125, and you never hear from them again, ever. So they don't even remember your name, anything. And then you start thinking, man, 9 months later, man, I need my carpets cleaned. You go, who was that guy? I have no idea. So what if someone calls in the carpet cleaning company? The first thing that the receptionist says is, "Oh, are you a member of our Gold Club?" And the guy goes, whatever they say, yes, no, whatever they say. Well, usually they say no. And they go, "What's that?" And you go, "Well, you give a little 10, 15-second pitch on the filth that lives in your carpet. Do you know that you have this many dust mites per whatever square foot? With our Gold Club, you sign up, we're going to come out 4 times a year, we're going to clean your carpets, and we're going to do your sofas at no extra charge, but you only pay for 3 times. So buy 3, get 1 free. Would you like to sign up for our Gold Club?" So the cool thing about this is, let's say you offer that to every person that calls in and you only get 10 calls a day. You're going to get 1 extra sale per day from that easily. You're going to get someone sign up, and they're, instead of buying 1 sale, they're going to buy 3 off the top, and you give them 4. So now you've gone from, maybe you're making 10 sales a day or whatever. Now you're going from 10 to 13. So you've increased your revenue by 30% with just a question you're asking. And when you increase revenue by 30%, as you know from gross profit margins, you're increasing your profits by 50, 100% easily, just with a question. And now you're locking those customers into long-time deals, and you're going to get everyone in the Gold Club eventually. So it just makes more sense. It serves the customer better. It's obviously a win-win for everyone. So
yeah,
something like that. And I bet you I learned this from Joe Polish 15 years ago. I haven't studied him for 15 years, but yeah.
You're a fan? You're a fan of Joe Polish, Pat?
Oh, I mean, I studied him 15 years ago. It's literally been that long. So I haven't looked at anything he's done for 15 years. But as soon as you said carpet, I go, Joe Polish. So
love it. I just want to expand on what Pat said here, and this is for you, the benefit of everybody. listening, Billy. Like we talked about this on Tuesday, but like I had a conversation with a guy earlier today, and this would be, he's like a 9-10 figure guy. I mean, this is a smart cookie. Anyway, so just part of that conversation, one of the things we were talking about, it was similar to what we talked about on Tuesday, and exactly what Pat just did. Is somebody called, like, well, okay, I'm going to explain this differently. You talk to, one of the things that we do is we go to accountants, and then we say, you should be doing consulting, and then they're not doing consulting. And then the question is, well, how do you convince them to do it? And the answer is education, right? Like, that's how I disrupt somebody. If I want to sell somebody something, I want to take them to an unhappy place, not to kumbaya, everybody jumping up and down, clapping hands and talking about how puffy the clouds are, right? I want to take them to an unhappy place. So how would I do that with the accountant? I say, so what do I buy from you for $25,000? Right? And of course, the accountant, generally speaking, doesn't have an answer. Well, what's $25,000? Well, $2,000 a month for coaching / consulting. That's $24,000. We're pretty much there, right? Well, will he do it? Will he not? And the answer is he'll get it. I'll disrupt him a little bit, but he probably won't follow through. Again, how does he follow through? How do I get him to follow through? How do I get him to sign up with us and stick around for literally a decade? And we have lots of accountants that have been with us for that long. Well, I educate them. So the solution is education. If Billy wants to sell the carpet cleaner, part of that process needs to be education. And again, part of what I talked about on Tuesday, education around how amazing everything is, more education around things that are going to go wrong, right? Like, again, what is your goal? He says, well, we want to hit 7 figures. Stupid goal. Why? Because you could hit 7 figures and then lose 80 grand. You could hit 7 figures and make, 40 with slim margins. Anything goes wrong. Talked about this on Tuesday and talked about it many times in the past, and I'll talk about it many times in the future because it's so true. You'll sit with business owners all the time and they want to hit 7 figures. So I have to educate them, which I just did, that you realize that's a horrific goal. It doesn't make any sense. You could actually accomplish your goal and then go, what the heck just happened? I just lost 80 grand. Like, that's not exactly what they're looking to accomplish. So anyways, when Pat answered the phone as the carpet cleaner, he said, are you a member of our Gold Club? They said no. He went into education immediately. That's how you get them to sign up. Because I bet some of you are sitting there thinking, gosh, somebody calls a carpet cleaner. Do they really want to hear about, dust mite, dust this, that, and the other? And the answer is there's a good chance. And some won't. And that's totally fine. Guess what? You move on from the gold program. They didn't have it beforehand. Don't expect 100% of the people to call up and say, oh my gosh, the Gold Club for the carpet cleaning? Woo! I can't wait. When you do your numbers at the end of 12 months and 20% of the folks signed up for the Gold Club, and then it's second year and then it's third year and the numbers start to compound, this is how you build a killer business. Another part of what the magic of what Pat said is he said, oh, are you a member of the Gold Club? If I say yes, I pay a few. Think of that. He's describing Amazon Prime, to be clear. Okay. And apparently Jeff Bezos knows a thing or two about building a killer business, right? So they have the equivalent. Well, I want you to imagine that they're going to sell the carpet cleaning business in X amount of years, right? And they probably aren't, like, this isn't on their radar. Once again, how do you get somebody to think about exiting and systematizing their business to the point where they could actually do that? It's education, right? So there's 2 carpet cleaning businesses for sale. One's got a Gold Club with 200 members, and then the other guys don't, and they do what Pat just said. They basically run the business, and sometimes they get calls and they don't get calls, and they just run it very sporadically. Which one would you want to buy? Which one's going to get a higher valuation? And I think instinctively, like, it's not even a comparable, right? So again, but it's again a conversation about long-term value. Why is Amazon Amazon? Because if you go 20 years back and look at the press clippings and whatnot for Amazon, and what was it? Amazon.scam. It was like people literally thought it was a scam. Why? Because he wasn't worried about being profitable, but a monthly basis, a quarterly basis, even an annual basis. They never made any money. People thought, how the heck can they keep doing this? Well, Again, he was thinking long-term value, whereas his competitors were thinking how much can we make off the toaster. So I hope that's helpful. And what Pat did, to be clear, he went straight to education, right? If I want to sell you business coaching, we go straight to education. If you go to marketingplan.com and watch our 1.5 hour guided tour, you're going to see education. That's how we move you. That's how we get you to whip out your credit card and sign on. That's how you get your business coach to whip out his credit card and sign on. That's how you get somebody in carpet cleaning to whip out their credit card, pay more with a smile on their face, and allow you to keep in touch with them on an ongoing basis long term. So there you go, folks. I hope that helps.
One more thing, Carl.
Yeah, please.
You can take the Gold Club idea and you can extrapolate it into anything. Think of hair salons, think of florists. Like, guys, if you ever go in to a florist, you buy flowers for your wife, whatever. When was the last time they even asked you your name? Imagine if they said, hey, are you part of our Gold Club? You know, we're going to package up. What are your 4 favorite dates for your wife? You know, your Valentine's Day, your whatever, birthdays, Christmas, whatever, you know, anniversary. We'll package up. We'll make you a beautiful bouquet. And we'll call you a week before to make sure you understand it. You come in, pick it up, and it's going to be gorgeous every time. And it's only this much, which is like 30% lower than our normal rates, whatever, blah, blah. So never once do they ask that. But if they did ask that, you'd bet at least 1 in 10 guys are going to sign up. So you could take the idea of a Gold Club, whatever, you can extrapolate over a lot of businesses where you need to increase the frequency of customer purchases, oil changes. I mean, whatever you get people coming back on a at least an annual basis, but a lot more, hopefully a recurring basis. You could probably find a way to do that.
Yep. And what will happen, Pat, you'd agree with this? The florist will go, Pat, that's a great idea. They'll implement it. They won't have success in the first 7 days. Why? Because, and when I say success, they will get a couple of people to say yes. But when you ask 50 people and 2 people say yes, they don't feel it. They think of the 48 no's and not the 2 yeses. And they don't think of the compounding effect of just like, it's short term. There's broccoli. And then if you got a live event and you ask everybody, do you want broccoli and cauliflower or do you want chocolate? 80% of the people say broccoli, you know, the healthy options. They get there. Guess what they go for? The chocolate, right? Every time. Ridiculous. The numbers flip. Well, this is, you know, that instant gratification way that we, you know, especially in today's society, that's your problem. That's why they need you. That's why they need a business coach to give them the macro, long-term value kind of conversation. So
that's
anyways,
exactly
there we go. I love it. Well done.
That's exactly what's going to happen, Carl, because if you as a business coach install it, like Billy, if you work for them and you say, let's get the Gold Club working, and after a week, you're going to come back and they go, well, it didn't work. And you're going to go, what happened? And you go, well, they'll say, well, I asked 20 people and I only got 2 to sign up. I'm like, dude, you screw your revenue by 30% or whatever. And you just doubled your profits. What do you mean it didn't work? They just don't get the numbers. So you have to walk.
They think of the 18 though, right, Pat? They think of the 18 that say no, not the 2 that said yes, because they don't think long term. That's it. Love it. Anyways.
You've got to coach the receptionist, whoever's answering the phone. You have to sit with them and coach them and make sure that's the first question out of their mouth every single time until it becomes habit. And you just can't tell them to do it. You've got to coach them and train them to make sure it happens. So, end of story.
I love it. There we go, folks. There we go. All right, we're Richard Epstein. We're coming for you. You're self-muted. Hey, Richard, you're live.
How you doing?
Good.
I likewise just signed up a couple days ago, so I'm just trying to see what this is all about.
Okay.
I've been a consultant for many years, consulting to $50 million, $100 million companies. I'm just trying to see how I approach small businesses now with this kind of approach.
I love it. Good stuff. How are we doing so far? All making sense and looking good? Yep. And all I'd say, maybe, Richard, this is just towards you, but, you know, for the benefit of everybody listening, well, you'll find, I would imagine if you're going to $50 million companies, you're charging some pretty decent fees. And what you're doing is you take on 3 to 4 consulting clients at a time, roughly, right? Instead of taking on 20, you take on 3 to 4. Would that be fair?
Right. Right.
Yeah. So, and then in the accounting world, we call that
That'll be fair.
concentration risk, right? Like whenever you have too much emphasis on, one client, one, you know what I mean? Like too much emphasis in any one place, right? You got concentration risk. So if you lose a client or lose 2 clients, is that your daughter?
Yes.
Hey,
Just
buddy.
picking her up at school.
Yeah, cool. Good job, man. Good job. But anyway, so you got concentration risk. So again, what we try to, coach and educate on is taking on 10 to 20 clients instead of taking on 3 to 4, so that you don't have that risk, and you lose a client or 2, no big deal. You just go pick up another contract. Right? That's the idea.
That's
Why
what I've been going. Yeah, that's what I've been going through. This past year, I lost 3 out of 4 clients.
Yeah, I got you.
I know it well.
Yeah, this is it. Concentration risk right in the mouth. Anyway, so that's cool. Well, look, honored to have you on board. Anything we can help you with here?
It's funny. I came across this. Curtis, I think Curtis reached out to me on LinkedIn. I came across this probably like a week or 2 ago. And he said, you got to go after joint ventures. And the funny thing is, I had just established a relationship with a relationship banker here in the St. Louis area. And I didn't even think about joint ventures. I formed a relationship with him. He knows hundreds of small business owners. He's like, I can make introductions for you. He introduced me to an accountant who said, I can make hundreds of introductions for you. I was like, and then when I saw the video and it said joint ventures, I was like, the light bulb went on. I said, of course, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. What you also find with that, let's talk about that, right? Like those joint ventures, those accountants. So as long as you continued, let's assume you didn't meet us, that same thing happened, and you're going after, $25, $50 million companies. Well, 96% of companies don't make it to $1 million gross, right? So again, you're just going to such a finite small market versus you charge lower fees. Like again, let's just say $2,000 a month is kind of, the ballpark, $24,000 a year. And again, you take on 20 clients at $2,000 a month, it's $480,000. You got ridiculous margins, right? So most of it, fundamentally sticks. That's part of the magic. But you'll be able to leverage those relationships at such a higher level when you got the smaller companies. So, So that's, and something you want to think about, Richard, is you'll hear about, we have a program where you build a team of coaches. That's probably, with your experience and that high level consulting magic, you'd probably look pretty good with a team of 10 coaches underneath you. We can help you do that as well. But that's once you get going, to be clear, but that's something you should probably keep one eye on. Oh, you still with me, Richard? Oh, we lost him. Okay, his daughter must have hung up the phone on him. Okay, guys.
Definitely interested in that. Absolutely.
Oops, there you're back.
No,
okay,
I'm still
can
here.
Your daughter hear me, by the way?
She cannot.
Okay,
I have my
that's
AirPods
cool.
in, but
okay, cool. We're gonna
no,
say hi.
I'm definitely
okay,
interested
Richard.
in that. I'm definitely interested in that.
Yeah, follow the roadmap, and then we'll chat about that. But you're in good hands. I love it. Honor to have you on board, Richard. Okay, let's put Richard back on mute. There we go. We're coming up to anything
Jaya.
there? Oh, Jaya, yeah, nope. Jaya. Here we go. Jaya, get your hand up.
Hi.
Is it Jaya? Am I getting your name right, Jaya?
Yes, that's right. You pronounced it right.
Oh, there we go. J.S. Sabans, another cool name. Well done. Where are you from? What's that? What's the nationality of that?
Oh, I'm Sri Lankan by origin.
Oh, wow. Cool. One of my best friends is Sri Lankan. Actually, funny story, and it's probably not going to be very funny. I'll make it a little bit, but I've got 2 buddies who are both Sri Lankan. One of them actually just passed away recently, which is a bit of a bummer, but great guy. One guy's big, he's 6'6", big guy, right? Played hockey with him. And then my other buddy is Neil, who's Sri Lankan. So they're at a party together, and then I'm like, Neil, right? You guys have to meet. And my buddy Neil, he's like, you're introducing us like we should know each other because we're both from Sri Lanka, right? I'm like, anyway, it was so funny. You had to be there, but I'm like, I am, aren't I? Like, I'm not idiot, right? I lived in Australia, and people would like, hey, I know a guy from Canada, right? They introduced me, and they're like thinking that I was going to know them, right? I'm like, come on, let's get serious. But anyways, there you go. So I got a couple buds from Sri Lanka. Cool place to be from.
I wouldn't blame you because we know everyone. Like my dad knows everyone. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I
cool place to be from. What's going on, Jaya? How can we help you?
So it was Adrian who told me to attend this webinar because I was bombarding him with loads of questions. So he was like,
Sure.
you need to go to these guys. I'm very, very new to this system. So it's only been 2 weeks. So I was going through the the profit acceleration software. So I'm going to be super honest with you. I don't understand this.
Me neither, Jaya. We're on the same page. Let's ask Pat a bunch.
Yay. Okay. But so you have a dashboard and it has this thing where it talks about for first time users, you go through each of those videos. Okay, I go through those videos and then what? That's I feel really dumb, to be honest with you. So I thought I might as well get some help in understanding what I should know to get things started.
Yep. Let me just walk you through that. That's great. So on the left here, you have the training, and that's where I am right now. And
Okay.
I mean, yeah. So can you see my screen okay?
Yeah, sure. Yes.
Okay. So what I would do is I would start, you can log in, but you're already logged in. So creating a new company profile and assessment. I'd watch this video and then I'd go back, I'd click your home screen and I'd just go and do what it says. So you're going to create a new company, you're going to create a company profile, and then you're going to, after that, you're going to create an assessment. So that training walks you through the training here walks you through exactly how to do that. And when you're done that, go through the introduction to the dashboard and financials.
Okay.
And then go back to the dashboard and just do what we said you to do there. Like, hey, this is how you enter your numbers in your financials. And then you just kind of keep going back and forth with valuation and finding an impact, things like that. That's how I'd approach the training.
So the new company could be my company itself, right? Like for me to trial and understand the system.
Well, what I'm doing here, so you have to, if you're going to do an assessment, it has to go under a company profile. So you can see I just set up XYZ daycare. You can just create all these random companies. So we might call this, so whatever, 1, 2, 3 results, Inc. like that. You just create a company. You have to do it wherever you got a star, and then the submit button appears there. So once you've done that, then you go and create a new assessment, and you have to put it under one of the companies that you've done.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
So I would, so let's say you just set up a company which was XYZ Daycare. You would just click that. You'd select a module set. You'll probably only have the first 3 here.
Okay.
So if you want to just use the Jumpstart 12, it's to close a sale.
Okay.
The Jumpstart 40 to close a sale, or perform a faster full assessment. And faster means it could be 4 hours. That's faster. And a deep dive could be 8 hours. So if you just want to close a sale, you click Jumpstart 12. If you're dealing in dollars, I just use Australian dollars because the symbol is the same as every other dollar, Canadian. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
And then you give your assessment a name, and in this case, I might say a Jumpstart. I want to make sure I can find it quickly. Jumpstart 12 XYZ Daycare April 15. And that's a really good name for an assessment right there, and you submit it. And then on the right here, it'll probably be at the top because you first done it, but now it goes to the bottom for the latest one. And now you just click on that link, and here's your dashboard. So that's what you do there. So now as you get going, just go back to, you can click the home button anytime, and you can go back to your training here. Or you can go back to the list and go back into your assessment.
That help, Jaya? Is that what you're looking for?
Okay, so these are my questions. So when I get a new client, I kind of start doing the assessment like this, right? Like what you just taught me.
So it depends what if they're a prospect still.
Okay.
And you're still trying to close them, then you're going to use the Jumpstart 12. And what the Jumpstart 12 does, it gives you 12 different areas that are very common to business growth.
Okay.
And in each area, you've just got got a note to yourself. You've got basically 5 questions that you would ask, and you're always going to find an impact somewhere. So that's all it is. If you're going into leads, you see we've got 5 questions only. They're very direct questions. They're designed to find immediate impact for a business. So what you're going to do is you might fill out 2 or 3, you might fill out 4 or 5 areas, but what you're going to do is you're going to find an impact in the software. And you'll see here that we've just found 5% in each area. It's not very much.
Yeah.
But we see this leads to a $618,000 increase in revenue, a 237% increase in profits. So with very small numbers, you can find impacts. Now, once you found 2 or 3, you're going to stop and say, would you like me to help you implement this? That's your close. It's not a big deal. I mean, you're not really a high pressure. You say, hey, would you like me to help you implement? Well, then if they say yes, the first thing you're going to do after you sign them up is you're going to do a deep dive assessment and do a full assessment. So I'd say you're starting from the beginning. Go through the training here on the side. You might want to watch it a couple times, but just go back and forth. Like watch a video, go and do it. Watch another video, go and do it. And I bet you probably in a couple hours you're like, oh, okay, I totally get this.
I have a role play call with Holly.
Oh, good.
So when I do what can I expect? What is this role play call all about? Is it what you just told me, or do I treat Holly as a client and that kind of show what I know?
Well, she's going to first make sure that you understand how to use the software. So do the training first, by all means. Anyway, when you meet with Holly, I'll come down because she's downstairs because she's my wife. So we'll connect again. Very convenient.
Very convenient, exactly.
The way it works in later is you start meeting people and you just get married to them. That's how it works.
Careful, Jaya. Your husband's going to be very disappointed.
Anyway, you'll meet with Holly, and you'll start leading. She'll pretend that she's for example, a baker, and you'll say, okay, Holly, got some questions I want to ask you, and you'll go through and do what you can, and then at the end of about 35 minutes, you're going to try and close her as a client, and she's going to be very, very, very easy to close. She'll be the easiest client you'll ever close. But then she's going to stop, and she's very friendly, and she'll say, okay, now here's how you can do it better. And she's going to train you in that and teach you all the way. And then she'll send you great feedback. And then the next time you meet with her, you're going to have polished those, and you'll learn a lot more. So there's really 3 role plays you go through. And possibly if you need more help, we'll give you another one. But you'll get up to speed very quickly with Holly on how to use it, and your confidence just goes through the roof. So
there you go.
My objective for now is to keep practicing the software here.
Exactly.
Okay, and understand what we can offer a potential client.
Yeah, so you could even think of your first role play would be with Holly. It's going to be a bakery. Like, how would you
Yeah.
help a bakery? What questions would you ask? Well, you know what? When you go into XYZ daycare, I'll just use this as my example.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have some questions in financials, of course. There's 3 or 4 questions. And then you'll probably go from financials, this is what we're recommending. I'd go straight to market dominating position. You could stop an introduction. You could ask a little bit about the business, build some rapport, but don't linger there. Go into market dominating position and see if you can find a breakthrough for her. You've got, you could say, you know, Holly, you might be unique, but it won't matter to your prospects unless it's a hot, but just read it. You don't have to memorize it. That's why we put it there. So Holly, what benefits do you offer to your target market that separates you from your competitor? She'll give you an answer. She might have a little chit chat. You can just walk through these, just ask the questions, take the numbers. She'll say, oh, I don't know, 30 or 40%. And you say, well, what if we were really conservative? What, maybe 5 or 10%? She goes, sure. So you put in 5. Okay. And then you keep asking the questions and you say submit. And you go back to the summary screen and you go, wow, look at these results. And she'll say, that's amazing. Let's go and find some more. You know, and you go and hunt another one and you'll do 3 of them. And then you'll see if you can close her. But that'll be in the training because you're going to use the ROI tab as a big deal. But definitely learn to use the ROI tab. And then you close the deal and then you'll get your feedback. And the next time you do it, you'll be 100% better again. So yeah, so don't be overwhelmed. It looks overwhelming. Once you go through it 3 or 4 times, and then with Holly, a couple times with Holly or Wally, then man, you'll just be so off to the races. You'll be a star.
Okay. Thank you so
There we go.
much.
Yeah.
That help, JF? So just follow the training, though. At the end of this, JF, follow the process. Feel comfortable. It absolutely works. But it can be a little bit, at first, it can become a little bit overwhelming, but follow the process and you shall be fine.
Thank you so much.
No worries, JF. Appreciate having you here. All right. Let's go. Where are we going to go here? Who do we got? Bill has got a question, I think, for us. Bill Van Overbeck, one more time. Hey, what's happening? You had a question in there?
No, actually, it was a comment. I was just thinking that. Sorry.
Yep.
Just the.
No, go. Curious.
I think it was the other Bill that was mentioning he had the mosque that was a client. You know, he's had a lot of, or his carpet cleaning client has had a lot of success with the mosques, and it might be if he were to reach out to those mosques and do some sort of affinity offering to, you know, the members of those congregations that you know, he might be able to get some traction there, and you know, whether he offered a discount or some other thing, you know, if those mosques have been happy with their work and the pricing, then you know, they may get some knockoff, you know, flow through to the congregation. That was all.
I like it. Good thinking. Good thinking. All right, Kuban. Is anything else on the software? We prompted a question from you, from our newbie.
No, just excited to start tinkering with it.
Okay, great. Okay, Bill, thanks, buddy. Gonna put you back on mute.
Hey, Bill,
right,
you know
let's
what?
Go. Go, bud.
I could say to Bill, you know, and also Jay, again, that the reason we created this is, you know, when you go and you talk to someone about growing their business and maybe you meet some resistance and you walk out, man, you go, man, I should have asked that question. Like, you kind of kick yourself like, oh, I should have asked that question and I missed that one and wasted the opportunity. And so we realized that we wanted to be able to find breakthroughs for any business in any industry, even if we don't have experience in that industry. And so we wanted to create a solution that would allow even a newbie coach, someone who's never coached before in their life, they've got some, you know, basic business experience, maybe not too extensive, but what could we create so that any new coach could go in and look like a genius in front of any client in any industry? And so as we've tested this, like I remember doing a construction firm. I'd never done a construction firm before. And at the time I had all these, before it was in this format, I had it like mind mapped right across my wall in giant posters. And I'd sit in my chair and just ask questions. And I had no idea about construction firms. And the guy says, you know what? I've never had anyone ask me these kind of questions before. You need to come in and do a full assessment for me. Like, it was just that easy. And then my friend says, hey, I got a friend with a steel manufacturing company. Can you help him? Like, I have never done steel manufacturing before. I have no clue about the industry. I said, sure, I'll meet him. So I asked him basically a lot of the questions from the jump start. He goes, I've never had anyone ask me questions like this. I want a full assessment. What do you charge? And I go, well, it's just, it's $2,000. And he's like, oh, okay, when can you start? It's like, oh my gosh, that was so easy. Yeah. So when you ask great questions, you are seen as an expert. And the great thing about Roleplay Holly is she'll show you how to hide your screen, pause your screen. So they won't see the questions you're asking. They have no clue that you've got these questions here. They just hear you asking great questions and they think, man, Jay is a genius. Like, who is this woman? Right? So yeah. That's the beauty of it. We can come out of the gate with very little experience. And Jay, I don't know your experience, so I'm just assuming, and maybe incorrectly, but this was my experience. You can come out of the gate with little experience and sound like a genius and close deals when you're just starting out. And that's the beauty of what we're trying to develop here.
Yeah, I just want to reinforce that. Again, if you were to say, let's just say whoever, Jay Abraham, Tony Robbins, whoever is, you want to call, the great business consultant, when they come in, you're like, well, what's the difference between, Tony Robbins consulting a company and then somebody else with less experience? And what Pat just said, it's the questions. Like, that's it, right? In fact, it's even more so. I always talk about the little red arrow, you are here. Okay, this is what these questions and this process will allow you to understand at a very deep level. And then the right questions to ask to understand the gap between little red arrow, you are here, the gap of where they're not, and then ultimately where they want to get to, right? And it's like, how do you fill that gap? Well, the answers to the question are exactly how you go about filling that. In fact, real quick, could you just hit implementation for me, please, Pat?
Yep.
Hit implementation. Everybody just watch this. So implementation. So you say, well, what do you mean by that? Like, this is the gap. So click any one of those, hit market dominating position if you could. And on the right-hand side, these are the answers at the back of the book. Okay. So could you just expand A for me? There you go. Like, what do I do? What does Pat do? What would Tony Robbins do? What would Jay Abraham do, or whoever? This is what we're doing. You need a market dominating position. How do we establish it? The answers at the back of the book, and you're coaching your client. You're staring at all the answers. As you work through it on the right-hand side, you're going to see the boxes. See how some of the boxes are ticked? So those are the ones you tick that once you're done. That's it. And then on the left-hand side, if you could, Pat, go to the left hand, and now actions. So I'm coaching Pat, and he's a chiropractor, right? So it's like, okay, actions we still need to complete. Got to call XYZ, got to create that joint venture, got to get the physiotherapist and start talking about a partnership. Boom. You put those notes. Could you just click add another under actions we need to complete? Mm-hmm. And then we just add another. See the way it's 5, and then it's 6. And then we go down biggest wins of the past week. Okay, so he got the physiotherapist on the phone, and he established a relationship with that guy or gal, with the doctor. Okay, that's a big win from the last week. And he did something else. We add another, and they just keep expanding down. So anyway, so 3 things. If Jay Abraham were to walk in, what's the difference between him and somebody with less experience is that he knows the question to ask to be able to pull out, where are you at? Where do you want to get to? And that gap is basically where your coaching lives. You help them get there. Remember, the average business, I don't need to meet them to know that they'll say, I want to hit 7 figures. Remember, that's stupid. That's a ridiculous goal. It's just so stupid. And they'll all say it, right? And this gives you the ability to do what I always refer to as standing against. And you could explain them how, look, I get it, but this is a bad goal. I got to fix this, right? Because I don't want you to hit 7 figures and hire all this staff and make all this money to find that none of it's sticking, right? So how about we build a $600,000 business with 50% margins so you can buy that BMW and have that lifestyle. And by the way, earlier, didn't you tell me you want to take your wife and kids to Disneyland and you wanted to be able to go away for 2 weeks and feel totally relaxed and totally comfortable that everything was looked after? Okay, let's build that business, what you really want, as opposed to the 7-figure business and never make it to Disneyland and, see that you got no money and everybody else is cutting it up at the end of the year. So little red arrow, you are here. Where do they want to get to? The gap in the middle, that's what the software is designed to do. And then the coaching component of it that you're looking at now on your screen under implementation is where you log everything. So next week, Pat and I are going to get together, and I've got 15 clients and I'm super busy and I can't even, it sounds a bit funny. You guys haven't experienced this, but you can't even remember Pat's name, right? You're like, oh my gosh, you're running from appointment to appointment, from call to call. And you're helping 15 different people build 15 different businesses. Again, believe me, your mind's going to feel a little bit elastic. So when you get to that coaching call, I know exactly what did we talk about last week? What were we trying to accomplish? What were the wins? What were the challenges? What were the things that I needed to do? They needed to do. You're staring at it. It's right here for you. So Jaya, and for everybody listening, I just wanted to go over that. Pat, go bud.
Yeah, I was going to say that William's been actively working on this week. We've got some things that we'll be able to. I'm not sure if it's going to come this week or not because we might have to pull William off to handle something else or briefly, but you'll be able to email your client like actions the client must complete before the next session. I've already seen in his staging software, he's got a checkbox here. So when that's done, it'll be removed from the top, just a little bit more functionality. You see we got dates now. We date stamped everything we've done. So you think, when did they write that? Well, now we know when it was written. This was written March 11th, for example.
Oh, boom. Oh, yeah, March 9th. That's new. That's new, eh? Where it says March 9th there. Oh, very cool.
So we've got those little things. So it's an ongoing project here. We're working on this, but it's going to get better and better. And as it gets better, we'll update the training and do trainings around it, and you guys will figure it out. So it's good.
Okay. All right, Pat, I got another call coming up, guys. We don't have any questions lined up. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to excuse you guys out of class. Just want to say thank you guys for coming and again playing full out. A lot of the time these calls, I want to encourage. We got some new folks here. We always got a bunch of new folks. I really want to encourage you guys to come Tuesdays and Thursdays with a bigger regularity. And again, if you can come armed with some questions, because I promise you, sometimes the answers go in some pretty funky areas that we've been told have been, been pretty helpful in the past. So do come to the calls, do come with some questions. And we find that folks that show up get a ton of benefit out of the calls. Pat, just before we go, could you just go to the role play? Because we mentioned that a few times today. And guys, if you do want to get a role play session with Holly, watch where Pat's about to go here. Just basically our domain name, no results - no fee / role play. Boom. And if you want to sign up, and there's no obligation for those that are new, and this isn't a way so we can tip you upside down and make as much money as possible. It's just a very legitimate, takes a lot of time, yada, yada, yada. So for 3 sessions, you pay, $197 for 3 sessions. And if you're a little bit confused by the software and you want to kind of pour gasoline on your ability to get this thing, operating and working, I want to encourage you to do that. Not necessary in any way, but that will be pretty handy. So in closing, I would just like to recommend that. We mentioned it a couple of times. So there we go. Pat, any parting words for our fine folks?
No, we'll see you next Tuesday. You guys practice. And don't sweat it. If you're overwhelmed, I get it. Don't sweat it. It'll come together. You just have to soak a little bit. So there you go. We'll help you out. Just reach out to us if you need some help. Yeah.
A little bit of marination, folks. That's all you need. Okay, cool. All right, guys. We appreciate you guys showing up. Pat, we all appreciate your genius, man, and your hard work. We'll see you guys all next week.